Hey y'all. Thanks for taking a moment to listen to Behind the Behind. This is just a podcast for my curious mind. I decided I wanted to start talking to people who do stuff that I find interesting. There's no format really, and I'm not a professional. I will be wrong a lot, so good luck. So for now, just sit back, relax, or keep jogging. Or are you driving? Oh wait, we're starting? Hey guys, we're here with Josh Boer. Is that how you say it?
It's Boer. It's spelled exactly how it sounds.
Booher. All right. Who he actually just started DMing, but he's really good at it. And I think a lot of people are already pretty impressed. So we're gonna ask him some questions. Starting with, which we both already know this, but how long have you been a DM and what got you started? So we
Uh,
know it's been new, but just kind of tell us how you got started.
Before you ask these questions, I'm gonna have you roll for initiative. No, honestly, I've always considered myself to be, I don't know, kind of like a silent entertainer. I, for one, do not like speaking in public settings. I don't think I'm funny enough to be a comedian, even though that's honestly, if it paid more, would be goals.
Dude,
Uh,
it's the dream. That's the dream job,
right?
man.
The dream job.
I always think about it, but I think you're right. Like a private entertainer. That's the new thing, man.
Yeah, I mean that's essentially what streamers are doing. They're unless you're huge and have like a major cult following, they are small time entertainers that are entertaining like a small group of people that believe in their vision, believe in their dream, and are willing to support it. Like this campaign that we have going on, for example, my first DM ever, never DM'd, never read Dungeons and Dragons rule book in my entire life. I just decided, hey, I'm going to break the norm. I don't want to be limited by rules and scenarios and everything. I just want to go in it, have fun, and remember what DMing is all about. Because if you actually read the books in the text, I can't remember what page it's on or where it's at, but it literally tells you that the D&D books are a guideline.
Right.
Everything is up to your DM. And what DMs have to remember is you're telling a story and these players are playing out your story. Don't limit yourself to like what can and can't be done.
Hmm.
Limit yourself to how much fun you want to have telling this story.
Yeah, and kind of like how much fun that your players are gonna have being in the story.
Of course.
Because I mean, like you said, you're the writer of the book, but you're just you just wrote the environment, and then your characters are writing themselves.
They're the ones that are telling you who they are.
Right.
That's just who you have to work with in this, RPG game that you're playing as the narrator.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. I've tried to like equate it to like the what is it, the director of photography, where they set up the scene and then the actors just kind of go in and do the lines. And the director of photography in like a movie would know where the story's going and everything's kind of pre-written. But if it was like an improv type of deal, that's kind of what we're dealing with here.
Improv is my favorite form of entertainment. Like,
Yeah.
it could go anywhere at any time at any point, and who's to tell you that you're doing it wrong? Because I mean, it's all off the top of the head. Like, you're not going off of a script. It's not set in stone what's going to happen, and that's actually how I run my games when I'm DMing. Nothing is scripted. I am completely unprepared going in, and I just let the game tell me what's going to happen next.
All right. Well, how long have you been involved like in role playing games?
Are we talking tabletop or otherwise?
Let's say both, but describe to me what otherwise would be.
So, As far as tabletop RPGs go, I have been involved in some form of another in a tabletop game, be it like Pathfinder or Stormbringer. Stormbringer is actually where I started my love for tabletop RPGs, and that was around. I'm 30 now. It had to have been when I was 22. Uh,
Okay.
as far as the others that I mentioned, more like, role playing games, as far as like video games go, that's been a major love of mine since the age of 7. Like, it is second only to real time strategy games.
Okay. I am not at all experienced with any of that. I've seen it like at game shops and stuff, and it's just like cool.
You've never
I
played a Command and Conquer?
well, so I mean like RTS in real life, like Warhammer 40K.
Oh, I've
Computer
never.
games, yeah. I Command and Conquer, Tiberian Sun, I played so much of.
Right.
And when me and my friend found out that he could play on like the Nod disc and I could play on the Tiberian disc, and we could both be online playing each other with dial-up internet, heck yeah.
Oh
That
yeah.
was my thing. But when I saw people playing that in real life with like Warhammer and stuff, because that's where I would go to play D&D was at those stores.
Yeah.
And I'd walk in and I'd see them playing Warhammer, and I'm just like, they got rulers out. Like, I was like, hold up, that's just
I've never ventured that. Like, RTS is a love of mine, but I will not go that
yeah,
far.
yeah. And but you know what? It might be really fun
Could be. We'll never know.
because I mean, this brings me to the next spot, which is like when you were a kid before playing Dungeons and Dragons and what have you. What did you think of when you heard Dungeons and Dragons?
When I heard Dungeons and Dragons, I grew up in a time where it was, still run by the boomers, and everybody was set in their ways. So when they say Dungeons and Dragons, I'm thinking that 37-year-old pizza faced man living in his parents' basement,
Yeah,
with like all his high school dropout nerd buddies coming over. But I mean, it's really taken off in a different way as far as like modern times, because D&D had a comeback. Now it's more modern, everybody's loving it. I don't know where that came from, but I'm glad it's here.
the theory that I have is once Bill Gates kind of like got big with building the home computer and people started looking at nerds differently, is when there was like a shift in that kind of stuff. Like that's when like anime started getting big. That was like when video games were just like coming out in their prime, and then D&D came out too. Cuz I remember it started like getting real big when I was like just got into college in like 2007.
Hmm.
And Bill Gates, since like I was really young, has always been like a hero, to like the nerdy kids. And
Yeah.
so I think it kind of maybe stemmed from something along those lines. Cause I mean, nerds are out there making the money now, software developing, all that stuff.
Yeah, you got all those commercials where they're like, "Hey, don't pick on the nerd. He could be your boss one day."
Yeah, I remember those so hard. Oh man. So I know it just happened because we just played it last week. But if you could go back to the first session that you've DM'd, would you do anything differently?
I would kill you all off.
Sounds about right.
No, honestly, I think that the whole flow and how it progressed, it didn't go quite according to, I guess, quote unquote, plan. I kind of introduced some elements that I was saving for later, but I saw that you guys were spending like a substantial amount of time in that one area, and you weren't really looking for like the crumbs that I put there.
Hmm.
So I just kind of introduced content that you guys should have been seeing, later on down the road, and it all ended up working out.
I thought it was super fun. To me, it felt like I was playing an episode of Clone Wars because like there's some comical crap going down. Like we were doing super cool things, but we were also messing up like really hard.
Right.
And I was like, dude, this is totally like an episode of Clone Wars. That
Like
would be
like
it
when
would be
Justin
so fun.
charged up his epic charge and then just got his leg swept.
Oh my gosh, dude! I can't wait to play that one again. That one's really fun.
I've got a lot in store for you guys, let me tell you.
Great.
I'm going to turn this
So,
whole thing into like a labyrinth puzzle.
dude, that's gonna be fun. The prison system was so dope. I was like, the map for it and playing it on TTS is a whole nother thing.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a different ball game. It lets you feel like you're sitting there at a table with your friends with all these little pieces and everything. It just gives you a, like, don't get me wrong, I love Roll20. Roll20 is a great platform, but some people just prefer to have like that solid piece that they can look at, you know.
Hmm. I man, I've never done like a one shot before. I've always like tried to join people's like campaigns, and then everybody like ends up canceling after like the first two. So
Yeah.
I didn't play for a long time. And then I moved up here when I met my wife 3 years ago, and there was some people at the theater that they're playing this like 3 year long campaign. And I was like, that sounds like something I can get into. And then I hate to say it, but I was not expecting it to be like that, the way
Mm.
that it was going. It was really cool because this dude spent so long, like it went way better than I could have expected. Like I was fathomably impressed by, he wrote a book pretty much about this world that doesn't exist. And I don't want to give too many details away because I know he might want to keep that secret, but like he put so much work into it that I was like, that's insane.
Well,
I'm
imagine writing
so
a book for
impressed.
3 years. I would imagine, you know, you'd put some kind of work into it and you get good at it.
Yeah. And I mean I was just super impressed, and it just made the game fun and it flowed. It was it was great. It was like playing Skyrim. Like you could literally just travel wherever you wanted. He already had the world built.
Hmm.
And so we could literally go anywhere and he already had the story lined up. You know what I mean? Like it was just so neat.
I appreciate small details like that. Like, I want to do this. Oh, well, I'm prepared. I got it.
So I know you've only DM'd your first game, and this might be a little meta, but I'm pretty good at like compartmentalizing. So don't worry about giving details away. But what are some rules you have now that you absolutely must have because of some game breaking thing that happened in the past, whether you were the DM or the player?
Some a major rule that I like to have: be incredibly specific with what you want to do, because a whole lot of what you're trying to do can be lost in translation, which leads to somebody telling you that you are allowed to do this. So you do it the way that you planned it in your head, but it didn't go the way that the person that gave you the permission to do it had in their head, you know? And then it leads to a lot of, hate and, oh, well, you said I could. Well, you didn't say it like that. It Being descriptive, especially in a game that's, all tabletop, is a necessity.
Yeah, it's like Magic the Gathering, where like the word choice matters.
Right.
You know, like that's why even cards in Magic, it's like pay 1 mana, change the words to this instead, and it's like, whoa, okay,
A small descriptor can change the entire outcome.
yeah, I'm all about that. For me, I think my game breaking thing, I've only done 2 sessions total,
Mm.
and they were the same campaign, so it's kind of cool that it went like that. But man, I don't even remember what it was. I know what it was. It was like a Left 4 Dead, but Dungeons and Dragons.
Mm.
And the first 2 sessions took place in a sewer, so it was pretty fun. But I
What's the
think
game breaking aspect?
the game breaking aspect was I had no idea what I was doing. I I realized that I needed to like look up like the types of zombies and actually like because when you have what player level ones, you have to scale big monsters down,
Yeah.
and I just didn't do things properly. And so now what I do is I put monsters out there at their exact whatever they say, and depending on how the battle's going, I make a DM decision to end it, like kill the monster before it actually should die, just to you know make it a little fair.
I am guilty of that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because it's because if I just try to scale it down and then I scale it down too much, I'm like, man, that was supposed to be like a big fight, and there it goes. It's gone.
Yeah, like Nico's campaign. You guys were not supposed to make it out of alive, but I mean, you kept mowing them down, so I just had to throw more at you.
So, if you could give any DM, like if you were in like a room full of DMs, of new DMs and veteran DMs, what's your one piece of advice that you would give?
My one piece of advice, I will bring it back to the beginning of this interview. Remember that you're telling a story and make it fun. Like, don't keep yourself shackled down with rules. It just takes all the fun out of it.
All right, yeah, that's good. I think that might get lost sometimes, especially on those long campaigns.
Yeah, you just got to remember that you're doing this to have fun. You're not doing this as a chore or things like
Hmm.
that, which is how it turns out sometimes.
Yeah, like my thing is, if you really don't want to play, please don't.
And inform your party that you don't want to play and you're not going to be available, and understand when to kick out players that are showing these signs.
Yeah, you know what? Here's a list. Actually, hold up.
It is not rude to kick somebody from your campaign that hasn't showed up for 3 games.
Yeah. Or just remove their character completely, and if they do come back, reintroduce them if you want. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You're the DM. You make the rules.
You can do anything you want. But and it's not like a kick to people like that, because that's actually kind of caring. It's like, oh, I don't want to like move on the story without them.
Hmm.
But I get it. It goes both ways. But also, you have to play with like-minded people.
Everybody has to want to play it.
Yeah, because it is a time commitment, and I totally understand. I'm never mad at people who can't be there. Life happens. Life happens a lot,
Hmm.
and I totally understand. Just I think communication is key.
Communication's key, and you also can't punish your other players for somebody that can't make it.
Right. So now tell me truly, are you for or against the party?
Which party are we talking about?
If you're the DM, is your one of your goals in mind to kill the party or not?
Okay. My goal is to keep you alive, but make you regret it.
Yeah, want to die.
Are we
Dude,
dead? Can we die yet? Nope.
dude, there's some DMs out there that are like, I'm just there to kill them. And it's like, man. But I wonder if there's DMs out there that kill players because they're like, you know what? I don't think that character fits, so I'm gonna kill your player. So you have to make another one.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like that definitely
Oh,
seems like something I would do. Like if I got this whole band of like ragtag misfits, but then you got that one princess. Princess
that's
is gonna die.
yeah. Oh, you guys are a band of thieves. You guys are sorcerers and fucking nomads and rogues and stuff, and then you got this one paladin.
Oh, or instead of like making it like that, the, here's my problem with people making characters. Okay, you always hear about these guys making these paladins or these clerics. Oh, we're all for good and everything, and then you have people making warlocks and you expect them to be bad. Flip the script. Why not have like a warlock that is entirely, for justice? He may not have signed a contract with a demon. Maybe it was a deity. Then you got like the paladin who is like, I don't know, a Satan worshiper.
Yeah, I mean, well, so there's like that's another thing that I was gonna bring up is like, what's your idea on having a party that's like aligned versus a party that's kind of all over the place?
Well, a party that's all over the place will never get anything done. If you have your entire party that's under the same alignment, like either good campaign or evil campaign, you're going to have a fun time. But with too many people having too many ideals, you're just going to clash with each other. It's going to end with arguments, and you're going to be stuck in the same town for 5 sessions.
Yeah. No, that for sure. I've never been in a party where they were like, you can't be misaligned. So you guys have to choose if you want to be evil or good. But I did a campaign where the end of the campaign was the DM has been in secret touch with one of the players the whole time, and they were a traitor.
Sus.
and nobody knew, and it was me, and I was a paladin. So I got to be an evil paladin, and I just happened to be the only one who was able to get a god tier weapon with runes and stuff. And we did the last session fighting the big evil guy, and I rolled first initiative, and I was in the back, and I just hurled a holy symbol at one of my guys, and I critted, and it killed him instantly.
So it was just a bad day for everyone involved.
Yeah, and it made so many people upset. Like, the guy I killed, it was his birthday that day. Like, it was, like, really bad. And I was just like, dude, I'm sorry. Like, as your friend, that's just how the DM wrote it. And oh my gosh, it was chaos. But man, it was so fun. Are you kidding me?
You have to make sure that you're playing with a good party, for something like that, because there could be some hard feelings that come out of the game with that.
Oh yeah, you have to compartmentalize it. It's not real. This isn't how I really feel. I'm not an airbender. You know what I mean? Like, none of that is real, man. This is all make believe, and it's like it's hard to like sometimes separate from that when you're really like involved in your characters and when you played that character for a long time.
Right. You got some dude playing for like 4 years, has a binder of all his equipment and 14
Yeah.
notebooks of backstory.
Fucking doodles of him all over the fucking place.
If you kill his character, there's gonna be some feelings.
Yeah, 100%. So now that you've done your first DM and you got that first initial breakthrough, what is your plan? Do you want to like do more of that in like different ways? Like, what's up?
Well, I love being a player, especially since, my role as a player is basically to make the DM hate me, and that brings me joy. As far as DMing myself, I think at least for my next couple attempts, I'm going to keep it at one shots. Maybe go for a full campaign after that.
Okay. I mean, I have this it's a stupid dream, but it'd be really cool to get a published campaign.
Like, D&D does?
Like where they buy the story. They do that all the time.
Yeah, I think D&D themselves, or was it D&D or was it Beyond? I don't know. Somebody just wrote a book of this campaign, something, some lady's urn of endlessness or something.
That's crazy.
like the whole internet, as far as like my ads go, is just advertising this stuff like crazy. Like, so D&D does do it, and I don't see why
Yeah.
you can't.
They publish a lot of stories that people send them, which is really cool to just like hear about that. But man, I wouldn't even know where to start. Like all my campaigns are pretty small as well.
Hmm.
But I have this idea of a campaign, and it takes place in the modern world,
Hmm.
and it's about VR.
Interesting. So like a Ready Player One situation.
It's gonna be like Ready Player One, except mixed kind of like Power Rangers in that.
Hmm.
And I don't even know where to begin, like with the system.
Well, my advice to you would be to get in touch with some people that have DM'd and just start hammering out, details.
And that's what this podcast is. It's just to get in the door with these DMs right there.
Hey, hey, here I am.
Okay, so you've already kind of said what your favorite part about playing is pissing off the DM.
Oh yeah.
But what was your favorite part about DMing?
My favorite part about DMing is honestly, it was like letting you guys think that the battle was over, but introducing an element that made it that much worse for you guys. I actually kind of felt bad. So that was one of those instances where it's like, okay, this has gone on long enough. Let me give them a way to kill this thing and just kill it. It's those like, I don't know, I guess like DM jump scares.
Yeah. Dude, okay. That worm was kind of a jump scare.
That was the instance because like I'm like, all right, I made this thing super powerful. It's got like this rock skin. They're not really able to aim for the mouth. How can I get it so that they can kill this thing? So that's when I started having the robot bring the gasoline, and then I I had Nico see this like invisible smoke coming out of its backside, which I'm glad he picked up that it was like explosive fumes.
Good. Yeah. Dude, I couldn't hit. I didn't roll anything over like a 5 on the die for like the rest of the game until we got to uh the next temple.
Yeah. And
I
if
was
nobody
like,
would have saved
I'm
your
not doing
guys' team
anything.
captain, like as soon as the worm put him in like that sticky stuff, if nobody like tried to save him, he was going to get eaten. You guys were gonna be captainless because no one was able to kill this thing.
Dude. Oh, that would have been awful. I would have just gone on the radio and be like, hey, can you send another captain?
Can you get us
John, roll
another
a new
captain
character real
down
fast.
here?
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Okay. So how I want to end this is we're both gonna roll a die. And
Okay.
this is the die of who will be the better DM in the future.
Okay.
So we're just gonna roll a straight D20 and I'll let you go first.
Well, I actually have my Dungeons and Dragons dice tower that I got from Loot Crate.
Okay.
And we're going to go ahead and drop that. I got 17.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm using Google Roll Dice. And I got a 15. So it looks like, sir, you will be the victor in this.
I will always be the better DM. Get somebody to match my improv.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you doing this, and thanks again for coming.
No problem, man. I will always be happy to join.
And we'll probably try to get you back after you've DM'd a little more, and you got some more insight.
Then and now.
Then and now. Behind, then and now.